All right, so go ahead and state your name and tell me your ride. What are we looking at?
So my name is Isaiah. I got a 1993 Toyota Celica, GT.
Nice, no big deal, right?
Yeah.
Now, you come to these meets all the time, and I know that the industry you work in, you're quite familiar with cars and detailing. But let's talk about your ride first. Tell me why you chose this platform. What do you love about your car?
Honestly, I chose it because it was one of the. Well, it's a long story. So my dad was trying to teach me how to drive manual, right? So we're looking for a car that was stick shift, right? And knowing me, I wanted an old 90s car because, I grew up,
yeah.
my whole family grew up just driving 90s car. So I'm looking at an offer up, that's where you get all your cars from. And I find this 1990 Toyota Celica, $250, right? And I
Too good to be true.
Yeah, so I go over there. He's like, oh, it doesn't have registration. It runs and drives. Tags expire next month, though. But, he didn't have any pink slip. It's kind of sketchy, but, where I used to live, it was all just back roads and stuff. So I was like, whatever, I'll buy it. So I took it and learned how to drive manual in that. So then...
The guy didn't try to murder you or anything?
No. He was pretty nice. He owned a towing company, actually.
Oh,
so
right
he actually just towed it, just wanted to get rid of it. So now I'm looking for another Celica with plates, tags, so I can just swap the engine, right? I find this white 1993 Toyota GT, and the guy's like, yeah, it doesn't run. I couldn't figure it out. I popped the hood, the O2 sensor's disconnected. The map sensor is gone too. So following weeks, I get the O2 sensor plugged back in, I get the map sensor, and it runs perfectly fine. For 1,100. He wanted 1,500, but I was like 1,100,
You had to put in all the work, right, already.
So then, I brought it home, fixed it. Took probably like 2-3 weeks to fix. And then after that, it was just started, working on it. I detailed it, for my job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Detailed it, then dropped the car. After it was going to be my just daily driver, but, you know how that goes. Started putting more and more money into it.
That's cool. Yeah, no. And you bring it to all the meets. It's your pride and joy. It looks fantastic for a low 90s car, man. And so what kind of got you into cars? And we could talk about your detailing in a sec, but what made you a car guy?
My family, they're all mechanics.
Oh,
so
right on.
they, growing up, was just all a Japanese car. My uncle owns a 90 Eclipse. My dad used to own I don't know what Civic, some 1990 beater Civic. And then, it was like probably 3-4 years ago, me and my uncle, time I didn't know anything about cars. He's like, oh, I'm looking for a 3000 GT. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll keep an eye out. And I found a VR4, twin turbo all-wheel drive.
Dang, that's cool. That's a pain in the neck to
Yeah.
work on, though.
So we got that one. That was my first experience with Japanese cars, like actually working on it. So we started working on it, got it running, and then a month later, both turbos blew out, and the engine gave out. So we're like, all right. So that was my first experience with Japanese cars and working in cars in general, and I loved it.
And yeah, so you got addicted to it going through that route,
Yeah.
man. That's very impressive. Now, tell me, you got the car running, you've detailed it, you've got it going. You said it's your daily, but you're kind of putting money into it. Where do you see yourself with this car in the next few years?
In the next few years, honestly, I am planning on rebuilding it and honestly just making a reliable daily driver, like put it to rest, no more work, no more, nothing, just keeping it and then starting a whole nother project. But I do plan just keeping it forever. If something does go wrong where I'm like, I don't want to put money into it, it's just going to sit in my backyard.
No?
Yeah, I can't let go. It was not my first car, my second car, but first car I was legally able to drive. So I'm in love with it.
That's cool. So yeah, you've built your emotional attachment, and I hope people realize that sometimes it takes going through these growing pains with your car to realize that you love it, and you don't want it any other way. Now, detailing. How did you get into that? Because you work for a fantastic guy, fantastic company that ceramic coated both of my cars.
Yeah.
Tell me, how did you get into that?
So my friend actually, I went to middle school, high school with him, grew up with him. And I used to work at Little Caesars before, and one day he called me, he's like...
Nothing wrong with Little Caesars.
Yeah, I love that job too. That job was pretty fun. It was a really fun job. But he calls me up, 6 a.m. He's like, oh, my boss is looking for someone to hire. He's like, and... Oh, wait, pause. I gotta go back. when I detailed my car, I took it to that shop, same shop you took your shop to. And like I said, I grew up with this kid, so he was like, give me $100 and we'll work on your car together. So I'm like, all right, for sure, work on it. No, this one isn't mine.
That's pretty sick.
So I'm sitting there detailing my car, he's teaching me how to use polisher, everything. And his boss comes around the corner and he's like, this is your car? And I'm like, yeah. And he looks at my work. He's like, oh, you did pretty good, for your first time. He's like, are you sure you did this for the first time? I'm like, yeah. Like, this is my first. I've never touched a polisher before. And like looking back on it, I did pretty bad. Like I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, it was kind of really bad. But
But Jason saw the effort that you put into it, and he kind of history is the rest. History says that time will tell with that. So that's cool. Now, are you liking it? I mean, do you want to continue to evolve your skills and all that, or is it more of just a side hustle and a side gig for now?
No, when I first started, it was just I wanted to learn how to do it, and now it's like I want to say officially learned everything. He can give me a car and be like, all right, go ahead, do it on your own, and I can do it now. And now I'm just like sailing, coasting with it.
That's awesome.
Learning new things still, obviously.
Oh yeah. And that industry is always evolving every year with new product, new polishers, new this, new that.
Yeah.
But I think it just takes craftsman work and skill and patience when it comes to that stuff, man. Don't get me wrong. That's why I can do a lot of it, but I take it to you guys when I want something done properly. And so what advice could you give to those looking into getting into detailing, particularly more high-end automotive stuff, getting rid of all the swirls and micromarring?
Honestly, I'd say if you're not afraid of messing up your own car, which is very rarely messing up your own car, like you can mess it up, you can always fix it. Polishing, buffing is always fixable.
I doubt anyone's getting a rotary polisher and just burning their clear coat right on the spot,
So,
but
honestly, I'd say just working on your own car, starting off with that, seeing the results you get, and it feels good when you see the results. Like, yeah. When you don't see the results, that's when it starts to get like, I don't want to do this no more. But just once you see your results, like when you're working, you finish working, you see your car come together. Like all this was under like all that,
Yeah, it takes a level of pride, and again, some people just don't have the patience for it. I definitely don't, But if you dedicate yourself to it, then the end result's always fantastic.
Yeah, 100%.
Last question. California wants to transition to electrification in the next 15 to 20 years, and I know at your shop you do Tesla after Tesla after Tesla. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. What are your thoughts? You've worked with these electric cars. You've kind of seen how they work, how they function and operate, and in a few years, they only want to sell zero emissions cars in California. What do you think about that?
Honestly, it is a good idea. Like, I agree with it. It is like for a good cause, but at the same time, owning a emission car that like destroys the, it puts out, emissions. I got no catalytic converter in there or anything. Yeah, but no one knows that. It is for a good cause, I'd say. Like, it's understandable. It's inevitable. It's going to come.
Yeah.
So I'm with it only because, the ecosystem is already so bad,
Exactly. So you're a little more open-minded, open to it. So that's cool, man.
It's understandable. As long as they're like, oh, no gas cars on the streets no more.
We definitely don't know.
If they get there, then it's like, all right, hold up, wait a minute.
Well, thank you again for your time. Go ahead and give out any shout-outs, and where could we follow your ride, your Instagram, anything like that?
I got my car's Instagram. It's Kineko_GT. I don't know if you want to spell it. It's KINAKO_ and then GT.
You got it. Thank you so much. I'm going to do a quick mini walk around it. But, dude, it's been so nice talking to you. You always come to these, dude, and always send Jason my best regards. So, all right. Thank you so much.
I always see him all the time. When I see Jason, I'm like...